Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Melbourne Cup Day here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go across to our friends over in WA and, of course, speak with the reigning champions over there in the Perth Football League. And, of course, that is the Cottesloe women's football team. And, of course, they won their Premiership only 2 months ago now. And, of course, we've got 5 very special guests joining us right now to tell us a bit about it. Thanks, all 5 of you, for joining us.
Hello.
Well, I will get all 5 of you to introduce yourselves and tell us what position all 5 of you played on grand final day.
I'm Charlotte, also known as Shah. I played in the midfield, and yeah, it's good. Killed it.
I'm Laura, centre half forward, and our captain.
Cassie, and I was also in the midfield.
I'm Alva, and I'm in the half back line.
And I'm Emily. I was also in the midfield and vice captain.
Tell us a bit about the grand final.
Pretty special day. I think on the start when we all got into the change room, it was a really good vibe. We're all just really excited to get out there and play football together. I think we were in a really good headspace. Everyone was dancing around, excited, and I think it was more the feeling of, yes, we've got one more game this season where we get to play footy together, and I just want to get out there. I want to play with my family, my hens, and I know that we're going to do each other proud. And we did just that, went out on the field and came out strong. The other team was scoreless for the first half. So I think a lot of us put the work in and supported each other. Yeah. The midfield were definitely the powerhouse on the day.
Halfbacks
for sure.
are right.
It was a team effort. We all sat back and rewatched the final afterwards, and it definitely was just a full team effort to get us across the line on the day, and such a good feeling.
So your opponents was Kingsley in the grand final. How did you fare against them during the home and away season?
Yeah, so Kingsley, they were on top of the ladder, I think undefeated for most this season. The first game we played them was like night game, terrible weather, and yeah, it just wasn't our best game at all. And they got the win that game. And then the second game we versed them on our home ground on a beautiful sunny day, and then we got the win, thank God. So it was kind of very, very even. Like they were on top of, they were high on the ladder. But yeah, we had beat them once in the season, and then in the final we versed them as well, and we won that game to get it. And they had a second chance, so we ended up meeting them in the grand final again. But yeah, so we were very even competitors. So yeah, it was good.
And they're super side as well. Like we actually got on so well with we used to play beer pong a lot. Afterwards, and it was just
she's Irish.
Translate if you need us to. There's just really good manner about them. They just played fair footy, and it was really, really good.
We enjoyed playing them for sure.
Yeah.
Considering they had an experience of winning a grand final the year before, I guess how did you manage to beat them through the 4 times throughout the year?
I think after the first game that we played, like Cassie said, it was a night game. It wasn't the best weather, and our general headspace just wasn't there. We weren't in the right kind of mood, and there were a few things kind of pre-game that didn't really go our way. So as soon as it became our home game, and we have 4 teams at our club, so when we have a home game, it's a proper home game with a proper vibe, and you've got the support of both C4 girls, but also the support of both of our boys, the league and reserves teams. And so having that support just kind of gave us a bit of atmosphere and gave us a bit more confidence, I think, to go into the second time we met them. And then we just took that exact same vibe into the first final. And it was a tough game. It was an extremely tough game, but I think we won only by a couple of points or something. It was pretty close in the end. Felt close. Felt close in the midfield.
Yeah. 4 goals.
4 goals. I thought it was like, it's all the black. It's all the black. We won. We won, and that's all that matters. But it was kind of like one of those moments where we couldn't believe that we'd won, because we were in the same position last year in the exact same final, and we just flunked it. So it was really good to have that win.
Confidence boost.
Confidence boost, a week off as well, because it was a pretty rough game. So a lot of us were a bit sore.
Very physical, wasn't it?
And we knew Kingsley were about to play some really rough teams as well.
We won't name them.
We won't name them. But so then it came to grand final day, and I think we all just really made an effort in the week leading up to the grand final to make sure our headspace was in the right place. We had some really special trainings in a couple of days leading up where we really kind of solidified as a team, and that showed on game day.
Am I assuming on Premier League final day, when you had the week off, that you were barracking for Kingsley to win that game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought we could beat them.
Yeah, the other team who Kingsley were going up against, we'd lost to them previously, and the other round we were meant to play, unfortunately, we missed because of COVID. So I think just was nice to know going into a grand final that we'd already beaten Kingsley in our semi-final, and so it's a bit of a better headspace to go in. And we also knew Kingsley, and having that initial loss early in the season taught us a lot, and our coaches really helped us to refine our game plan and our lines as well, our individual lines, and how to beat them. And so that helped us in the season.
Yeah. I think as well the other team was like the unknown. Like you said, we hadn't beat them before. I think that would have definitely played with our mind a bit more.
We didn't really know how they were going to play.
Exactly.
Where Kingsley, we knew we had to start off strong.
We'd beaten them twice already. Yeah,
so,
exactly. We kind of beat Kingsley, so which worked. So yeah, we'll definitely. A few of us went to the game. Actually watched that final, and it was very close, and it was a very tough game. So it kind of probably worked in our favour that they. Yeah, got roughed up a little bit, I think, in that game.
We're going back to the grand final now. Was there a certain point in the game that you felt comfortable enough to enjoy the moment?
It's so funny. Like,
I was like, really? Oh my God, I was dead.
I remember, like, the lead up was insane. I was incredibly nervous that morning. Going to the footy game together, and we're just saying in the car, going, I just want to be in a comfortable position half time, knowing that maybe this could be our game, rather than it being 1 point game and just being on edge and super anxious. I remember it being in the third or fourth quarter, and she came up to me, she's like, this is it, this is what we're wanting. Like, we're kind of like, I think we've got the game here, but don't want to get complacent. But she's like, this is what we're wanting. Like, we just got a goal, run it back in. I don't think they only scored one goal or 1 point or something at that time.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, we were in a pretty comfortable position, and I was like, so that was a moment I was like, oh my God, this is it. I think we might have it here.
Best on ground in that grand final 2 months ago. So number one, were you surprised that you got the best on ground? And number two, how did you think you really played in that grand final?
No, I was surprised because you had Kimmy as well. Kimmy, the winger, she played a good game, and Alva as well off the halfback. She played well. Like, everyone played great. But Alva and Kimmy stood out personally for me. I just found that I was in the right spots. I don't know, just everywhere I went, the ball was there. So it's hard not to be there. So what do you do? Pick up the ball and run. But if I had to pick it would have been Kimmy or Alva, definitely. So.
Charlotte's our bulldog. She just gets in there.
Yeah, if I see the ball, I'll take my player out as well. So that's my ball.
Doesn't hesitate.
Obviously, I can see all you wearing your medals, I think, around your necks, which I'll get all you to show to us now.
Oh, yeah, that's mine.
100 years.
There it is. So the question I want to ask all 5 years, how long did you wear your medals around your necks for, and did any of you sleep with it?
Same as mine.
I reckon Emma's done.
Yeah, Emily was a long time.
It was a pretty long time. Yeah, I think I was I'm pretty sure I wore it like a month afterwards.
Any event we could.
Yeah, we're a pretty social football club. So as soon as the grand final night hit, I can confirm did not take it off for about 24 hours. We didn't have a shower, so it took it off. But you can tell we were actually just saying as you were arriving here, my medal in particular has a lot of bite and scratch marks in it because we were going around like biting the medal and like chinking against it. Yeah, probably not what they're built for, but look, we won them, so there was no shame in our minds to be wearing them for a fairly long time, and even now putting it back on, it's like it never left.
I think I wore mine under my jumper my first day back at work.
I brought mine
I
to work.
still feel it there. I can still feel the weight around my neck.
I had two, so mine's really heavy. So, so yeah, the last one.
So Charlotte, did you wear both? Like what? Did you sleep with it? And if so, did you wear both?
Both medals, yeah, but I had my other one like tucked in. The other one was out, like the actual this one here, the one we won together. But the other one, yeah, it's team effort. So
Trying to be a bit modest for once.
yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I didn't scratch. That's why.
Yeah. I know. Normally I would ask about the trophy, but of course it's actually a flag in your competition. So who got to hold the flag for it first?
I think our coach too. I think our coach grabbed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Robbie got it.
Because he got presented it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Dolly after.
And then just got shared around. I think our coach Rowie grabbed it first. I think that's what he got presented with. And then once we had the photo, I think everyone was just taking turns grabbing it, getting photos, and it got shared around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Did it come out with us that night?
No.
Yeah, it was behind the bar.
It's behind the bar.
Yeah,
That's right. It was hanging up.
the,
That's right.
Place that we went to after the grand final, the bartenders there were amazing, but they put our flag up behind all the bottles of liquor, so it was up in our special area.
That's why
On
we're
display.
That's why it was clean.
That makes sense.
They held by anyone. Yeah.
Speaking to another club that won a premiership on the same day, obviously they mentioned that the flag was pretty small, I'm pretty sure. How did you use the flag for, other than obviously the celebration?
Not much really, hey. Like I think we were just more preoccupied with our medals, to be honest. I didn't even have the flag. I was too busy showing this off to everyone that walked past.
I think it was like used for quite a few photos in the change room. And then after that, it will eventually go up in our club rooms, but at the moment we're waiting for our redevelopment. So our club rooms in the next couple of months. So eventually that'll be probably one of the first thing that gets put up on the wall, I think, when they get built this year.
For sure.
Let's talk a bit about your Premiership coaches. Tell us a bit about how important they've been throughout the season, especially with obviously, the stop-start due to COVID.
So our head coach was Rowie, and he'd been with us 3 years. So for him, it was just as he was just as hungry for the win as we were, I think, and he'd really developed as a coach over the past 2 years in particular. So he'd improved a fair bit. But we also had a raft of assistant coaches. We had Sam Pullman and Zoe Modized, who is also one of the players. But then we also had extra coaches as well who helped us out on the day. So we had Darren Coley and Zach as well. And honestly, we just couldn't have done it without that complete support and that really refined advice and coaching for each of the lines. It made all the difference. So having people who played in those lines. So for example, a midfielder in the men's team talking to us as midfielders was extremely helpful, because it's obviously different advice that you give to forwards and backlines as well. So they were pretty vital. And the final week leading up, the 2 training sessions we had there, we were really lucky. We managed to get a training session at the ground that we were going to play the grand final at, due to some pretty handy connections through our coaches. And that was a really special night. It was really handy, and the coaches were just as switched on as the girls were at that training. So they were pivotal in our win.
All the coaches are actually players at the club. So whether Zoe being a hen, and all the men who coach both the C4 hens and the B are all roosters. So our hens and roosters. And so just the knowledge that comes from that, but also they know us as people. They come to the social events with us. They've all been around the club with us for the last few years. So there's a lot of respect there, and there's a lot of understanding, and we've all kind of grown together, I think, as the years have gone on. Sam was actually our coach in 2018. as well. So I think they're, as I said, that growth together has really helped us out this year. And having, as Em said, the line coaches, we didn't have that last year. Poor Rowie had 45 players to himself. And so this year, just the amount of help and support we had really made a difference and helped us to develop as individual players.
How did all 5 of you get involved in footy, and why did you choose it?
So it was my first year playing this year. I played like GAA back home, and I played camogie. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that. It's like hurling. So I played.
But it looks like all three of them.
How do you say it?
Camogie.
Camogie.
Yeah, look it up.
I said look it up.
Some homework for you.
Yeah, I translate for you.
I'll talk slower. So yeah, I've won a lot of finals back home with that. And then when I came out here, I won a final in Melbourne. But then I got to Perth and I was like, God, I'll try something else. And just gave footy a go. So it was great. Came into the club and it's just a great way to meet. Because like if you go to play the Irish sport, you're just with Irish people the whole time. So it was so nice to get into the Aussie lifestyle. So yeah.
You should have heard how she used to speak. This is actually an improvement.
Yeah. I love your accent.
Me too.
For me, I started 3 years ago. I actually came off the back of a breakup. So I was dating a guy for a while, and one of my friends who's no longer at the club, but she's like, just come give footy a crack. Like, you meet a whole bunch of new people, you have the best time. And that was it for me. I was just sold to footy and sold to this club. And it just became like 45 plus instant new best friends, which was really good. So, yeah.
Oh my God. I started 9 years ago, so it's been a while now.
That's why she got the medal.
I played a grand final before this, so it was it was good. So 9 years ago, I'm actually from the East Coast. I'm from Sydney. Moved over to Perth and I wanted to make friends, and I found like the Cottesloe hens on like Instagram, and I messaged them, and they were just so nice. I'm like, I'll come down for a training session, and then happy days, won a grand final. So and new friends, even better.
And I was kicking the footy with a couple of guys who play down the park one day, and like, oh, you can actually kick and mark the ball. You should come down. I'm like, oh, I know, sounds a bit terrifying. And finally, they got me down to a social event, and I met a few of the hens that night, and they were just so welcoming and made me feel really good about it. And I wasn't going to be an idiot when I turned up, and I came to my first training session and just absolutely loved it and never looked back. And that was in 2018. So yeah.
Well, I'm a PE teacher and I'm like an avid football follower. Like, so I've loved footy my whole life. Fortunately, go for the Freo Dockers. Been member for 20 plus years, so it's been a painful upbringing. But yeah, I absolutely love footy. And at school, I was just always desperate to play, and it just wasn't really any chances back when I was at school to play football. It was just obviously just male dominant. And then so didn't really thought it was an option. I moved to London, and the AFL competition over there is huge. It's very social, very competitive too. So it's actually quite massive over there. And I met some friends that were part of the West London Wildcats, and then they kind of convinced me to played a few games over there. Not many, it was just more kind of like carnival type games, just because I was traveling most of the time. And then one of the friends that I made over there played for Cottesloe. He was a rooster, and he said, when you come home, like, you should join the club. Very hesitant, but I saw him again. He's like, come down, you'll love it. And I did, and yes, been by far the best thing I've done since coming home, for sure.
All 5 of you mentioned right at the start what position you all played on grand final day. If you had a preferred position where you like to convince your coaches to put you next year, where would that be?
Yeah, midfielder, but don't take me off as much.
I know, she's crazy. Like, take me off 2 minutes.
Oh my God, I'm not even come off yet.
I think I'd like to stay mostly centre half forward. This is the first season I feel like I understood the role. It took me 4 years to get there, but having the extra coaching staff and also playing with the same forward line all season really helped me to understand my role. But I wouldn't mind a deep forward pocket.
I think you'd be good at that.
That's where I want to play. No running. Like, catch the ball and try-
Like all the seagulls.
Yeah. Get all the crumbs.
Get all our work and get all the glory.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your answer. Donna, so.
I actually think women took that position.
I was gonna say I like midfield, but I'd always wanted to be forward because I've been a forward or an attacker in every single sport that I've played. So this is the first time not doing that. Wouldn't mind giving it a crack, just to work on my marking a little bit maybe. But I'm pretty terrible.
So we know
That's what happens when you're in midfield for 3 years.
I quite like where I am. I like the half back line. But I actually didn't mind the winger position. I played that a couple of times.
Yeah. She can run.
She runs all day. Yeah. Sometimes bounces.
What does the sport of footy mean to all 5 of you, especially being there at Cottesloe?
I think for me, it's kind of what Cassie said. For us, it was, for women in particular, it was never an option growing up. Like I grew up in the country where they're kind of sometimes a little bit more progressive with sport, but even then I was never like, then there was never the opportunity to play AFL, to learn AFL. Auskick wasn't a thing, like there was none of those options. So to know that I am part of something that's much, much bigger now, and it also means that for future generations, and if, you know, decide to have kids or whatever, that they can look at their mum and go, oh, hey, I can play footy. I can do that. That's an option for me. I don't like the idea that people can't do something because they don't know it's an option. So for me, that's what footy is, and Cottesloe as well. It's just such an inclusive club. I've spoken to a lot of people at other clubs around Perth, and none of them have as much interaction between the men's and the women's team as we do. It's a really collective thing, and if you go to any of the guys or the coaches or the girls and ask for to help improve your skill, they'll put it aside the time. They'll come and help you. They'll make sure that you can be the best that you can possibly be, and that's where I think Cottesloe does really well.
Yeah, just the culture that footy brings. I don't know, just friendships, and like it's just so diverse as well. Like, you may not feel like you fit in somewhere else, but as soon as you rock up to a footy club, you just fit in. You're all weird, but it just makes sense. I know it's weird, but you just fit in.
For me, it's community. It's given me a place where I feel really safe and I can be myself. It's also really been amazing for my self-development as a person. And just, I think being in that leadership role and having to really understand what affects other people, not only in footy, but also in their life, and having to kind of work around those things or assist people, help them out, and just lean on each other. That's really helped me to understand just people, and as I said, probably community is just the biggest things.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, like I've grown up loving football, and I used to be so jealous of my brothers and like the culture that they would have of like going to the club rooms and having all these events and having like these brothers, and I used to be so jealous that I didn't kind of have that. I used to play sport, netball, tennis, volleyball, but it was never quite the same. Like go to a game, you'd finish and go home, but they'd always hang around and they'd always have some event on. I used to be so jealous of not kind of having that family that my brothers kind of always had with their footy club, because I absolutely love the sport. So I'm just like I'm in love with the fact that I now have that, and the Cottesloe Club is probably the best footy club in Perth. I'm going to say that. I know I'm a bit biased, but like the girls, it's such an incredible club. It's so small. I think that's probably why it's so good, is that you know everyone, and they're not just kind of acquaintances, like everyone is your friend. Like my best friends that I have in my life now are from the club, boys and girls. And like Em said, the interaction between the boys and girls club is incredible. Like I know so many girls that play and don't even know the names of the men's teams or the people that play, where we would get the opposition teams being overwhelmed with all the support that we would have from all the boys coming to watch us. And we are a very social club as well. So we not only do we train together and then watch others play games, but we'll all go out and go to events together. And yeah, it's just such an incredible place to be. And yeah, like I said, it's community, culture, and it really is a family there. Yeah, absolutely love being there.
Yeah, for me, it's probably one of the biggest things. I'm so proud that I came down and joined, because I could have easily just kind of gone with the Irish club and just had Irish friends, and it was terrifying to come down, absolutely terrifying. But honestly, but the girls are talking about the family aspect, like I all my friends are from the footy club, like literally all my best friends, and they've just been so welcoming, and yeah, it's just been amazing. And one of my friends over in the Gold Coast, she joined a club, and she's like, I was like, yeah, I'm actually joining a club, you should join one too. And she just hasn't had the same experience. Like this is just
Very rare.
Yeah. So it's very, very special. Very, very lucky.
Now, Laura and Emily, being the captain and vice captains of this team, what does that mean to both of you?
Pretty special. I think you obviously get voted in by a team, so that's big in itself to have the confidence of all these players. It really puts some fire under you, because you want to do your best for everyone in the team. You want to make sure everyone feels supported. I think doing it last year was a big learning curve, whereas this year I think learning how to empower your leaders around you was probably a really big thing for me this year, is to learn how to let other people probably take the reins a little bit more as well, and help them to grow. But just being able to lead a team of just incredible people onto the field each week, and just see, I suppose when I'm giving my pump up speech and I'm getting that feedback of people, I see Alva's huge smile, like, yes, Laura, this is great. And it just kind of revs me up to kind of get out there with them. And I see the amount of effort that like all our leaders put into it. It just makes me want to work even harder. It's a really, really cool, and I feel really proud and honoured to be the captain of the teams.
Pretty much exactly the same as Laura. It was really humbling to be voted in as vice captain at the start of the year. Just being who I am as a person. Like, I'm generally a pretty up and about kind of person with other people anyway. So it was kind of nice to know that that's what people were looking for in a vice captain role. And I really found as well that it helped me to be able to connect with the entire club, so not just the B grade girls who played in the grand final, but also the C4 girls as well. And I wanted to be that person that they could come to if they were having issues, if they didn't feel comfortable to speaking to someone else or anything. And that's where the entire leadership group, because while Laura and I were captain and vice captain, we had about 7 of us that were all leaders in the team, and everyone stepped up and really took on that role. It was a pretty big privilege, and also to be able to hype Laura up as well. She's generally at the front, making sure that she screamed at us before we ran around the change room. So I think we just worked really well, and we provided kind of a balance in what people look for in their leaders, as well as the rest of the leadership team.
Yeah, because I think like for me, I haven't been involved with football for a really long time, and you have people like Cass and Lucy Clark, who are a bit more of those football heads, so they're a little bit better at helping to develop like individual players, and so they throw in that kind of thing. And you have me and Emma, who are definitely like will be in the change rooms having a bit of a boogie, and so I think every one of our leaders kind of contributed something different, so we kind of made a whole, and we really played to each other's strengths.
A couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Now, you just mentioned just before, Laura, about Boogie. So my first question I'm going to ask you is, who's the best dancer, singer, and who's the comedian? Oh, right. Okay.
I'm the best dancer.
Definitely the best dancer.
Maybe not the best singer, the best dancer.
Definitely the best
I don't know who
dancer.
a singer is.
Kimmy sings, do they?
No.
She was screaming.
Can you put a video up
she
for
was a
singing?
video.
Yes.
Yes.
We can give it to Kimmy. We'll give it to Kimmy. Best singer will be Kimmy.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know this.
Comedian, I reckon Charlotte's been throwing
Yeah,
a few
yeah,
like
yeah,
her
yeah.
sarcastic humour here and
Yeah.
there.
No.
Don't give her head any bigger. So.
She doesn't need another one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like when we go out, Alva's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Give her a drink and then
I think we're all funny when we've had a
She
few
can
drinks.
dance.
Oh, she can dance.
she can dance, she can sing for you, whatever you want.
Oh.
Actually, Irish dancing,
Yeah.
great at.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
done
that's
a few.
good.
Not bad either.
That's
Sing
right.
Yeah,
Irish
get to give a little jig.
Yeah.
Is anyone on the team into their TikToks, and is any of them TikTok famous?
Chelsea.
We
used to
could
be,
have some
wasn't she?
sneaky ones that we don't know
No, I
about.
don't have
Really?
TikTok.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think we're a big TikTok kind of clock, to be
No,
honest.
no.
Yeah.
Pretty real.
Unless we have any like
Secret ones we don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe.
I thought maybe Brie.
Yeah.
Free
Wait,
tag.
Secret TikToker.
Do you reckon? Back in the day,
That's
maybe
a-
in lockdown.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We'll suss it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
That's our
time you do our
homework.
research.
Yeah. When we win our A grade premiership, so we can chat next year.
Yeah.
All right. Now, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
Dags probably went to the wrong position a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a kick the wrong way as well.
I actually was watching.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I guess.
And Kimmy did it the wrong way.
Yeah, Kate Dags says in the name, a little bit of a dag sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sometimes in the grand final. I think, mind you, to give her credit, I have a feeling it was one of the coaches was kind of revving up that she was going to be going into the forward line, and then she ended up on the chart.
Yeah.
She was actually in the. We had to wait a little bit for her to run back the other way.
Got a free kick, yeah. Probably Dags, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's all.
No one got any what's it called? Falcons.
No.
No.
Absolute myths over here.
Yeah.
Or kick the
We're
wrong
a bit
way.
boring, yeah. We're too good.
Embarrassing moments off the field is a different question.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Or Gokes doesn't wash her mouth guard.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Didn't wash her mouth guard.
She kicked 3 goals in the grand final though.
So must work.
Yeah.
I might try it next year.
Yeah.
Get one more season.
Oh, no.
What's Lucy's?
She's just generally superstitious.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
superstitious.
Has to stick with her routine in the
Yeah.
morning.
Same. So I think basically, like, I just wear the same sports bra. I think one time I was in the wash
Yeah.
and I was wearing something different. I just felt so anxious that I had a different sports bra on. I was like, I'm putting the dirty one on. I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, just try and keep the same kind of morning routine.
Yeah.
Anything drastic. Yeah.
Who has the best nickname in the team?
Fella.
Oh, yeah.
Alice.
Alice.
What is she? Halfback, fullback?
She's
half
right.
whatever.
She does a bit of everything.
She's
Yeah,
tall.
ruck usually
From Melbourne.
full forward and ruck normally. Big fella.
We call her Big Fella. I don't even know how that's
But not large.
No, she's just really tall.
Yeah, she's just tall. Yeah,
Natural
Big Fella.
footballer.
Jet.
Oh, Jet.
Yeah.
Jetstar, wasn't it? No,
Yeah,
Jet.
Jetstar.
Jetty. Yeah. Yeah.
Who else?
I think we need to work on another club. I think we don't have enough nicknames. That would be
Yeah.
something to improve on for next season.
Yeah.
I tried to get Zoe as Marge. Marge.
Yeah, that would work.
I'm so glad you mentioned you explained how she got big fella from. So I'm so glad you mentioned you explained that. Now, my next one is: did you have a fine system this year? And if so, who copped the most fines?
Dags.
No, she didn't get the top this year.
No.
She usually does.
Wasn't Lo-
No.
wasn't Lonnie.
Mon.
It was Mon.
Mon.
No, it wasn't Mon.
Yes, we did have a fine system, definitely.
Yeah. We've got 2 hens teams, so we've got about 70 players.
Okay.
So they're good.
Yeah, it definitely helped with our Saturday celebrations.
Yeah.
Covered the party bus and a few drinks,
Yeah.
so it was good. More girls, more fights, so it worked out well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was pretty evenly spread this year. Usually Dags has had a few previous years.
Yeah.
Usually
Copped a
from
couple
forgetting
in
your
my time.
shoes, and
Yeah.
Probably learned
leaving things
after.
behind.
I think she's
After a
learned.
few years, she's learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Change it.
But yeah, I think it was evenly spread.
Now, obviously, we've established, obviously, that it was an Irish. So have you tried to convince any of your teammates to speak in an Irish accent, and how's that travelling?
I think we just do it anyway.
Yeah, they just anytime I count down like 1, 2, 3, they're like tree. And I'm like,
English, please.
yeah. Sharon, I was like, translate, please.
I can't talk where I'm from.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Definitely no convincing needed. We just talk Irish.
Not to mock her at all. No.
No. We're a really inclusive club. We love each other.
We never see each other.
All right, I'm going to reverse this question then. So how's your Aussie accent going?
Yeah, let's go. How is it?
It's all right.
Say g'day, mate.
G'day, mate.
All right. That's all right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sing it.
to meet pie. We'll work on that one.
Wait, what's the song?
Education.
Yeah.
It's just that.
What would be your advice to people that should get involved in footy, especially down at Cottesloe? And you must tell us where your home ground is.
I reckon 100% if you're thinking about getting involved in footy, do it. Just make 1,000,001 friends, boost your confidence in more than one area, increases your fitness, really just end up with a whole bunch of friends and a really good time. And if you want to come down to Cottesloe, definitely a great place to be. It's a lot of welcoming people and who just from the start of the season, we usually are really keen and want to start in December. So we've got beach sessions and stuff, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just like I said, there's Charlotte was saying before, like you kind of just fit in. It's one of those places where if you could be looking for something different, if you're looking to increase your fitness or to meet new people or to increase your social life and things like that, or just want to play footy, you'll find something in the sport, especially at the club. Yeah, you can just come down, play a game and go home if that's what you want to do. Or then you can also come and go to the events and make new friends. So it's just, yeah, there's something for everyone. And it by far is the best club to come to do any of that.
Sure.
So our home ground is Cottesloe Oval, and it hands down has the best view in Perth. It overlooks, I would say Cottesloe Beach, but it's not even. It's the entire ocean. It's Rottnest Island. And on those days when it's just sunny, no wind, it is the perfect ground to play on. We're really excited because the change rooms are being redeveloped over the next kind of year or so. So we'll finally have some really beautiful brand new change rooms that are suited to both men and women's teams. And we'll also have a very nice bar and kind of a club room area that we can use as a function room. So exciting times for our home ground, which is Cottesloe Oval.
All five of you, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. And congratulations on the 16-point win over Kingsley in the B grade grand final. And best of luck next season in A grade. And let's hope this time next year we'll be talking about an A grade premiership coming down there to Cottesloe.
Maybe 2 more years.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
No worries. And that's the Cottesloe B grade, of course, Perth Football League champions in the, of course, beaten Kingsley by 16 points in the grand final early 2 months ago. There's more on the Smash Sport show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.